Hi there, this is Ronnie. Tonight coming at you with, well, a different kind of video. This is a video pretty much to extend what a kind of begging post I did on Facebook, the YouTube RPG Brigade Facebook page yesterday. The area that I live in, which is Gaukthrappel in Wishaw, it is a deprived area, and there are residents, and I've recently joined those residents, have created the Gaukthrappel Voluntary Action Group. There is a Facebook page for that, by the way. And the idea is to try and get the community together. Part of that is to have lots of activities and so on for all ages going on at our community centre, which is actually visible and is but 2 minutes from my door. It's actually visible from my window. It's just across the road. And whilst there will be plenty, I'm sure, for adults of varying things over the coming months, one of the sort of immediate projects that's going to happen is we're trying to get some sort of youth group going in the summer for the kids. Now we're talking kids from about, I suppose, as young as 4, I guess 4, 5, 6, all the way up to early teens, sort of 12, 13, 14, maybe even older, to give them somewhere to go and something to do. Our hope is that it will be successful enough that we can extend it beyond the summer and actually have a youth club of some description for the kids. Now this youth group during the summer is going to have a number of activities, outdoor activities, indoor activities. But this is Scotland, folks. There are several stereotypes and cliches with regards to Scotland, and one of them undoubtedly is the fact that it rains here. As such, I have assumed, and I think fairly logically, that indoor activities are going to end up taking precedent. Could be wrong on that, but you know, there you go. And there's going to be crafts and so on. So I decided, tabletop gamer that I am, to take it upon myself to try and get some games. So far I've gotten a lot of family board games or family games, things like Yahtzee. I've got dominoes coming in. I've got a chess and drafts set. Games like Monopoly and Cluedo, Scrabble, Pentago, which is a lovely little board game little strategy game. And I'm quite happy to get those games. But role-playing game player that I am, and have been for well over a quarter of a century, I would like to introduce a role-playing game or two into the club. Now, the finances for this voluntary action group are very, very tight, and as such I am uncomfortable spending full price on a game which might not even get played. It's one thing to spend 20, 30 quid on a game that I know is going to get played, but even then, you know, I don't want to spend that kind of money for the group. I mean, you know, finances are tight. We are relying on grants and donations. So I have been getting stuff secondhand, very cheaply, doing a lot on eBay. So I am looking to try and find secondhand role-playing games. Specifically, I want second-hand games that are easy to learn, very simple, rules-light games, role-playing games, and games that can be played by kids 10, 12 upwards. For that reason, there are a lot of games that are quite basic that I wouldn't touch with a barge pole because of the age idea. I love Palladium Fantasy, but Palladium Fantasy is quite mature. So I wouldn't find it appropriate for kids of sort of 10, 12 years old. You know, forget Vampire or any of the World of Darkness stuff and things like that. When I started this hobby, I started with basic D&D, and I've been kind of looking at that. I've also been looking at Dragon Warriors. I would even consider Dragon Age, which I own, and I might actually run a game for the kids in there. It's entirely possible. But I want a game that they can get into. So this is the begging video in conjunction with the begging post on the RPG Brigade page yesterday. I'm looking for donations for the group. I've already had one offer from Sean, and going to discuss the things, and it's very, very welcome. And Sean, if you're watching this, thank you very much for your offer. You know, as I say, there are free PDFs of retro clone games. I've got Dark Dungeons, I've got Labyrinth Reloaded. At the moment, my printer is not playing fair with me, or I'd print them off. I would happily print them off. But I'd like to be able to get some of these games for the kids. Now, as I said to Sean when I emailed him yesterday, and I'll say it here as well, part of the reason is that and I've said this in other videos, I personally believe role-playing games to be the pinnacle of tabletop gaming. I also think they are an incredibly positive hobby. And I think the kids would benefit. They may not even take to them, they may not even want to play them, which again is a reason why I don't want to waste the voluntary action group's money on what might be a gamble. Which is why I want to keep the costs down to as low as possible. If that wasn't a consideration, I'd be out buying Savage Worlds. I'd be out buying Dragon Age. I'd be out trying to get Dragon Warriors. And it wouldn't be a problem. But we do have this problem. I've always believed that role-playing games can be a positive experience. And I think it can be useful. When it comes to sort of fantasy gaming, I've already bought Magic the Gathering for these kids. I'd be very tempted to buy them Munchkin. But I want to be able to have lots of choice for them. That's why they've got family board games there. That's why I'm sneaking in the odd strategy game. I'm very tempted to get Stratigo as well. So what do I really want to say? If any of you out there watching this have or know of people who have second-hand role-playing games, I'm looking specifically for rules-light games that would be appropriate for children from about the ages of 10 up. That's in terms of both content and the actual complexity of rules. If you have any that you could donate or that you'd be willing to sell, we can talk about prices. I'd love to hear from you. As I say, I'm not sure which ones I'd take. I don't know which ones would be appropriate. We can discuss it all. But I'd be very interested in getting any offers. I will put the Facebook page for the community action group as a link, so you can look. It's in its very early stages. It's only been going a couple of months. They have big plans. Not all are mentioned, but they're going to be mentioned. We're also going to be creating a website, which I'm going to be maintaining, which could be fun. But yes, I'd love to hear from you, please. If you have any old rules, light, age-appropriate, second-hand games that you just don't use anymore, I'd love to hear from you. And you know, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who would even consider this. Thank you.